of course, I'm having some difficulties here, but I am working them out and I think that I am all good to go. I am just making sure that everybody can see me. I'm making sure that everything looks good. And good evening, Kira. How are you? How are you? Okay. Am I good? Okay. I'm on Instagram too. So I have two cameras. I'm just having some terrible technical difficulties, but I think that I got them figured out. And definitely by the end of the week, I will have them figured out. So I hope that everybody is doing well on this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I am just so excited. Today, we are going to be continuing the conversation of identity and relationships. Before I begin, I want to let everyone know about my books. They are all available on Amazon. Poetry's Love Song, which is a book of poetry. My newest book, Naked with My Heart, 7 Days to Spiritual Oneness. It's a mini devotional, just to help you get a jump start on your relationship with God. The Courage to Dance Again, which is my first book. This book is just about my life. It talks about a whole lot of different things. It talks about triumph over tragedy and just finding God in those intricate places in your life. And so it has poetry, dialogues with God, all kinds of things. Hey, Kenyon, how are you? And then lastly, my Naked with My Heart prayer journal, which is a beautiful way to track your prayers to see if God has answered them, when he answers them, all of that. So this is in here along with some prayers, some affirmations, and some other things. So today we are going to be talking about identity. Yesterday we talked a little bit about identity. We talked about some definitions of identity. And just to remind you, identity is who you are, who others say you are, who the world says you are, who you in fact think you are, and then the characteristics that make up who you are. These are all things connected to your identity. So take me for instance. My identity from other people is I'm a positive person. I have the influencer shirt on, so I am an influencer. I am an encourager. Okay. Again, another identity trait is my hair. I wear my hair different on a regular basis. My hair is always different. That is part of my characteristics. That makes up my identity. Okay. And so there, of course, are a lot more. If you know me personally, you'll know the kind of person I am. Now, some people say that they have to know me in order to really be able to connect with me, because just to see me out or see me somewhere, I may seem standoffish, where I'm not going to talk, or I'm not going to say think highly of myself, but I have heard that from people. Oh, you're a really nice person. You're really sweet, but I had to get to know you because just from looking at you, you seem, the word they use was unapproachable. Okay. And so I never ever want to seem that way to people. But they think that I seem unapproachable because I'm a thinker. So if I'm in a place, guess what I'm doing? I'm looking around. I'm trying to see who needs me, because that's my natural nature. I'm trying to get in touch with your spirit. I'm trying to pick up on your vibes. I'm thinking about what God wants me to do in this situation. I don't waste any moments. So if I'm somewhere, I feel like I am there for a reason. Okay. And so that's why I seem unapproachable, because my face is plain. I'm deep in thought. And it's not that I don't want to communicate, it's just that I'm deep in thought. But that is part of my identity. Now, since someone has told me that, actually, a couple people have told me that, then I work to change it. So when I am around people now, I try to work really hard to come out of that creative mode, because my mind is always thinking about projects, thinking about work, but I don't want to seem that way to anybody. That doesn't mean I'm not secure in my identity. It means that I want to portray and be a certain person. Am I being something that I'm not? Absolutely not. I am just being, I guess, a little bit more selfless in that area because of the field that I'm in, and the things that I'm trying to do. I can't have anybody thinking that I have a bad attitude. And nobody's ever said I had a bad attitude. They just said I seem unapproachable. Okay. And I don't want anybody to think that, because I need people. People are what's going to make everything flow together. Okay. So that's what we talked about with our identity. Now, with our identity, we have to talk about the spiritual as well as the practical. Why? Yes, we live in a spiritual in the sense of we're all working towards building our relationship with God, but we are in this world. And even though we are made in the image of God, we are still a part of this world. And so we have to think of things on both terms. And so that's what we talked about a little bit yesterday. Now, today we are going to talk a little bit more, but before we finish talking about our identity, I want to give a scripture. This is Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That's Jeremiah 1:5. So right there, that is a part of our identity. Okay. This is in the word of God. The word of God says, before you were born, I knew you in the womb. Okay. It said, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet over the nations. Now, let's break that down just a little bit as it relates to our identity. Okay. This is saying that God indeed has a plan for your life. Okay. And that plan is something far greater than what you can imagine. Now, does that mean that everybody is called to be prophets? No, it doesn't. But that does mean that you have a unique calling and the Lord has set you apart for that plan. Okay. What does it mean to be set apart? He's picked you up out of the crowd and he has a special task for you to do. Okay. So those are all important as far as your identity, and we are building this identity because this is very important as it relates to your relationship. Why? Because you take that identity and you put it into that relationship. Okay. And so we're going to get there in just 1 second, and I'll show you how we connect our identities with our relationships and why so many people are in unhealthy relationships and they are settling. Okay. So when we believe the worldview of our identity, we just tire ourselves out. We spend all kind of money. We do all kinds of things because the world says that we are supposed to look and to behave and to be a certain way. And because we don't always understand who we are, we maybe weren't given the proper identity or position to have a good self image, then we take on whatever the world says. And we talked about this yesterday. Media, others around us. Okay. Some of the things that the world defines us by is, let me see, my first point. Uh-oh, I don't want to go there. Right here. There you go. Who you are. Are you important? Are you important? Because people gravitate toward people who they think are important. Okay? Why? Because they think that if they will gravitate towards those important people, it's going to make them important. Okay? Now, when we're talking about this, and we are, I'm not going to say I'm like this, but because I have always had a heart for outcasts and things like that. And so I've always gravitated towards the people who were outcasts because I had a heart and I didn't want them to feel that way. So I never was, like, so to speak, with the popular crowd. Now, could I go and mingle with them? Yes. But I wasn't among the people where they're going to call me and they're going to choose me first. Absolutely not. Okay. But this is what the world views you by. You know, who are you? Are you important? If you're not important, if you're not somebody, then you see what I'm saying? So what do? You work to be important. You work to be somebody. And that becomes your what? That becomes a part of your identity. Now you're not being true to who you are because you're working to be something that someone has said that you should be. They've given you a standard and you're trying to live up to that standard and that expectation. Second, who do you know? That's another one. Who do you know? Because people want to benefit off of other people. And again, when we're talking about identity, who do you know? Because they're trying to measure your significance, your importance. And if you don't know anybody, if you aren't important yourself, then they're going to not think of you as, I don't know, more of an elite person. Okay. Third, what do you do? What is your career? When you're talking to somebody, that's the first thing out of a lot of people's mouth. Oh, wow, what are you doing right now? Well, guess what you're doing in your mind? You're measuring that person according to what they do, and you're trying to assess who this person is and what do they do, so that you can kind of make a determination of who this person is. Are they worthy of my time? Do I want to be their friend? What do I think? What do I feel? Okay. I was on the phone with somebody, and it was so funny. He would just kill me if I said this. But I was on the phone talking to somebody, and he was in the store, and he had seen somebody he hadn't seen in a long time. And I heard the conversation. He was on the phone with me, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And the girl was in the background, and she was like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good." And she said, "So what do you do right now?" He said, "I'm a lawyer." And then he clicked, hung up the phone on me. Why did he hang up the phone? Because he was not a lawyer. He lied. Why did he lie? Because his identity told him that in order to converse with this young lady, he needed to be somebody. He needed to show her that since we left school, I am somebody. Okay. Did he go to law school? Yeah, he went to law school, but he wasn't a lawyer. Okay. And so he just bent the truth just a little bit to make himself seem a little bit more important than what he was. Why? Because that was a part of his what? That was a part of his identity. What do you look like? This is another thing. People measure you by the way you look. Are you fat? Are you skinny? Are you considered sexy? The long hair, the eyelashes, the makeup, all of these things. What do you look like? People do that. People's identity is wrapped up in how they look. I get on here multiple times, whether I look very, very pretty in my eyes or whether I need some work. Okay. Why do I do that? I do that to show, first and foremost, I'm confident in who I am. I understand who I am. And so I don't have to get on here um in a way that just portrays me as I'm always have it together. I'm always perfect. Everything is in its place. Now, makeup and things like that does not make up my identity, but for some people that is their identity. You see them and they're going to always be sharp. They're going to always be put together. Okay, because that is a part of their identity. They wouldn't dare get on camera without a full face of makeup, lashes, and hair. Now, the problem with that is if they are doing it because they don't think that they're pretty and they're not confident, or are they doing it because they just simply like to look nice? There's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice. Do I prefer makeup? No, I don't prefer makeup. Okay. I put makeup on sometime. It just depends on what it is. Today I have lip gloss on and I just, brushed up my eyebrows. So that's me. Hey, Kadeen, how are you? It's nice to see you. So, a lot of people, they measure themselves by that. They have to have the makeup, they have to have the hair, they have to have the lashes, they have to be all dialed up. For me, I choose not to do all of that because I don't have to. Okay. But that's wrapped up in my self-confidence because I've learned to love myself. I've learned to love who I am. And so therefore I'm able to come on camera without the makeup, without the hair, looking like my natural self. All of that is a part of your identity. Lastly, in identity, before we move to relationships, is what do you have? So many times the world measure you by what you have. If you have money, guess what? That's your identity. They're going to like that. The world's going to accept you because you have money, because you have something to offer. Okay. And so that is another thing that another problem and stressor that they put on you because they want you to be somebody. They want you to look a certain way, and then and the media and everything around us portray those things, and all of these things contribute to our self-identity, our self-esteem. And so by the time we've watched the news and who the news said we were, and by the time we listen to what our parents said that we were growing up, and when we listen to what our teachers said, we are all messed up. And my friends, that's a problem because we are taking everybody else's view of our identity when we should be doing what? We should be identifying ourselves as Christ identifies us. Okay. Back to the scripture, Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. That says that God has a plan and a purpose. He set you apart. Are you a prophet? Some people are, some people aren't. Even if you aren't a prophet, he has something for you. Okay? So, this is the problem with our identity. So we're going to talk a little bit about relationships before, we're going to stop with the identity because I'm going to unpack the identity throughout the week. We're going to be discussing it, but now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about how that interprets into our relationships. Okay, so now I have a little bit of a demonstration here with our identity. So we have one bag, all right? And then we have another bag. So we have two bags here, okay? And so this bag obviously has something in it, and this bag obviously has something in it. Well, quite naturally, our identity is wrapped up in what something looks like, not actually what it is. So if I were to hold these two bags up, sorry, Instagram, if you can't see me. If I were to hold these two bags up in front of you, which one are you going to choose? Okay, well, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, this one, you can see that it has money in it. It has a bracelet in it. That's something that you are going to be automatically attracted to because this is a brown paper bag and you don't know what's in this brown paper bag. It probably have you thinking of the school lunches. Okay. So now this is what we're going to do. Hold on for 1 second, guys. Bear with me. I just want to make sure. My stuff is right. Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't want to hold y'all up. Okay. All right. Back to the bags. Okay, sorry, my notes. Okay, so we're gonna just take this bag for instance, because again, out of the brown bag and the blue bag, which one are you gonna choose? Most people are gonna say, you know what? I can see something in this bag. It looks like money, it looks like jewelry, it looks like a whole bunch of fun stuff. I don't know what's in this bag, so I'm not gonna look in it. And I don't want to choose that one. So because people with our identity, we look. Our identity is based on how things look, not what they really are. People look like they have a lot of money and they really don't have it. Okay. However, this is how most of us are. So if I were to give you a choice, guess what most of us are going to choose? We're going to choose this blue bag. Why? Because this blue bag is very beautiful. It's very pretty. So this blue bag represents a relationship. Okay. What's in this relationship? All right. Hey, Day, how are you? So what's in this blue bag? Well, there's a lot of stuff in this blue bag, okay? And these bags, now that you've chosen one, they represent people, okay? So this represents your spouse. This represents a relationship, okay? So now we're going to begin to unpack the bag and let's see what's in there. So say this is your man or this is your woman, whoever. I don't know if I'm talking to guys or girls, but if this is your man, this is your woman, and they're beautiful. They have a lot of stuff. They come with a lot of stuff. They smell good. They look good. It's something in here that you want, right? So say this is, since I'm a girl, I have to say guy because I can't keep saying girl and I get all mixed up. So I'm sorry, guys. I have to just use you as an example. It doesn't mean anything. It's just I'm using you as an example. Okay. So here we have money. Guess what? He's giving you money. Yep, he's giving you money. So guess what? You are okay with him. You're in love with him. Why? Because he's giving you money. Okay, lots and lots of money. Women like money. Okay, what else is he giving you? Oh, he gave you a diamond bracelet. You like that, right? Absolutely. So now we done got this man. He giving us money. He giving us jewelry. He giving us stuff that we love. We absolutely love. What else is in here? I don't know. Some little sparkly things. Some little, we'll say these represents diamonds. There's some like diamond looking things in here. Okay. All right. So he dripped out. He got some stuff, right? So now we all involved in this relationship. Okay. We all involved in this relationship. Now We done barely got to know this individual, but it's some stuff that's coming with him. Okay. Okay. First and foremost, we got some secrets. We got some secrets, right? So we done got us a man. He giving us everything, but now we find out he got some secrets. All right. What is his secrets? I don't know. Maybe he like multiple women. Okay. Well, here's one of his secrets. He got a little drug problem. He uses a little something. All right. That's a secret. That's something major. Okay. But because he's doing what? Because he's giving you jewelry, because he's giving you money, you're okay with what he's doing. Okay. You're okay with his little drugs. Well, guess what? Because you love him. Can y'all see that? Let me make sure y'all can see that. Because you love him so much. Okay. You skipping these. So now we done got ourselves involved in a sexual relationship with this individual. We didn't skip these because we love him so much. So we don't need to use no condoms. And he is walking around here and he got secrets. Okay. This is one of his secrets. He liked to do drugs. Okay. Just a little bit, just to feel good. Okay. And along with those drugs, he got some women on the side and everything. But again, guess what? Because he's giving you money. Okay. Because he's giving you jewelry. All right. You don't care about the drugs. You don't care about the secrets because you love him. Okay. And you're insecure about who you are. And this man is making you feel good. So now, because you decided you wanted to skip out on the condoms, guess what? Now we had a pregnancy scare. Oh, now you're pregnant. So now you're pregnant by this guy. Okay. And now you have a whole big old mess. And what are you going to do? Well, guess what? You don't know what to do because you don't even know who you are. You've accepted this man. You've lowered your standard. Why? Because you want to keep him. Why do you want to keep him? Because he's giving you money and he's buying you things. Okay. And he's being disrespectful. Sometimes when he feels like it, he's putting his hands on you. Okay. He has other women. Okay. And now because you love him so much, you don't want to use no condoms. And now you're behind and ended up pregnant. And you know all the little secrets and lies and what he's doing. And now you done got yourself in the situation. Why did you get yourself in that situation? Because you're not comfortable in who you are. Hey, David, you're not comfortable in who you are. And even though this man is tearing you down, even though he's doing all these things to you, because you don't know and you've allowed the world to define who you are, then you're staying with him. You're staying with him because, again, the money, the jewelry, the clothes, all of these things. So you are confusing that with love and care. And so that is beginning to form your identity. You're settling and the things that he's saying to you, and you are believing him. You can leave, but you ain't gonna find nobody that's gonna do what I do for you. Okay. And so some women believe those lies. They believe that if they leave this relationship, that they are not going to find anybody else because this man has told them, if you leave me, you're not going to find nobody who do the things that I do. So now in a woman's mind, your identity is beginning to get messed with. Your standard is coming down just a little bit because you don't know and you're scared and you're believing this lie. Okay. And so you're trying to hang on to him with everything. So now he understands that he's got you in the corner now. This little girl don't know who she is. She all up on me. I could do whatever I want to. I could have girls. I could do all of this stuff. I could disrespect her. She not going nowhere because she too scared to leave. She don't have nothing. Okay. And so you get afraid. And then what happens? You get pregnant again. Now you got another baby. He's still hitting on you. He still got the women. He's tearing you down more and more and more. And so now everything is being shaped in you. Who you are, what you look like, all these things. You don't have anything, so your identity is his. Who are you? You ain't nobody. You his girl. Okay, so all these things are beginning to affect your identity. And what that's doing is affecting the image that you have of yourself because you settle for this guy in this relationship. And so finally, maybe you muster up the strength to get out. And now you are going into another relationship. Well, your whole mindset is off. Right here, the more we allow, the more they'll do because they get comfortable doing and we get comfortable letting them do it. Okay. And so now we get into another relationship. We're still tattered and torn from the other one. And this guy has told us all these things. And so, because of what we had, we don't think we deserve anymore because he's already told us in our minds that you can leave me. You go find, you're not going to find nobody who will do the stuff that I do. So, what do? We automatically shoot low because we don't think that we deserve somebody to like really love us, somebody that really got themselves together. We don't think that we deserve that as women. Now, from a man perspective, there are some really good men and there are some women who tear men down, and they shouldn't tear men down. Okay, but they do it. I just talked to somebody, and this person, she broke up with her boyfriend, and she got mad. You ain't nothing. You ain't gonna never have nothing. You're not gonna never be nothing. That wasn't okay. Okay, now she did realize it. Was it the truth? It was the truth. However, it shouldn't have been said like that. So women, we play a major role in men's identity as well. Because after a man has went through this over and over and over again, then they are going to start to think there is no good woman out here. They all the same. All they do is complain and they unappreciative and this, that, and the other. And that is true in some cases. But there are some good women who know how to properly conduct themselves in a relationship, just like there are some really good men who knows how to love women and know how to be what they need. However, we have to really figure out who we are in order to supply somebody else's need or in order to figure out what they need. Okay, let's go back to the scripture. Psalms 139, 13 and 14. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. That is who God is saying that we are. Okay, that he's made us fearfully and wonderfully. And so if he's made us this way, why do we feel so bad about who we are? Why do we allow people to walk all over us and people to do whatever they want and say whatever they want, and then they tear us down and they mess us up, and then we can't function? Okay, we have to really understand who God is. Who God says that we are. Okay, because we take risk. We make an investment on our identity. Okay, we spend lots of money to be who the world says we should be. Okay, we go and buy the latest car. We try to get the houses all to meet up with somebody else. Okay, so that they can see, oh, she got this, she got that. Well, guess what? Half of the people that's saying all these things, they're not happy. They're broken inside. Okay, I know so many people who have really good Facebook relationships, Facebook marriages, but you talk to them and you go in their home, it's an opposite story. But they want to give you that appearance because their identity is wrapped up in that relationship, that marriage. Oh, they make such a cute couple. They've been together so long. And so they want you to see that. They want you to see all the good. They don't want you to know that when the lights are out, how this person tears them down and the things that they do to them. Okay? It's all a part of our identity. And so what do we do about this? First and foremost, we have to understand who we are. I gave you a couple scriptures. We have to understand who we are. Because if we don't understand who we are, we're going to allow and take somebody else's view of who we are, whether it's the world, whether it's a relationship, whether it's our past, whether it's our present, or whether it's our future. It's going to sell us an identity, and we are going to buy it. And so we have to get to the business of figuring out who we are, what we like, what we don't like, what characteristics make up our identity. As I said earlier, I'm an influencer. I'm an encourager. I change my hair all of the time. Okay. I'm a very unique, creative individual. Okay. I like to think that I'm intelligent. I'm educated. Okay. Now, do I talk about my education? No. You have to go to my website to find out about my education. Okay. Because I don't think that is important, because I can have all of the degrees that I want to. But if I'm not changing your life, if I'm not doing nothing to affect you in a manner that's going to make you grow, then what am I here for? What am I mentioning all of my degrees for? Because my degrees is not saving your soul, all right? The mere mentioning of them. Okay, so that's why I never ever talk about my degrees or talk about my education, because it's not important if I'm not helping you. It's not important if your life isn't being changed. Okay. Is it a part of my identity? It is a part of my identity, but it's not a part that I need to throw out there because I'm insecure. And the first thing out of my mouth is I have a master's degree and da 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 da. You don't hear me say any of that. I don't have to. Okay. And so we have to get to the business of really understanding the things that make up our identity. Because once we understand that, we can properly transfer it into a relationship and make it a healthy relationship. Because knowing who you are, knowing what you like, knowing what you dislike, all of that is going to help you when you get into a relationship. It's going to help you while you're in a relationship. Just because you're in a relationship and you have some stuff going on, guess what? Learn who you are and you can put a stop to that stuff. When you begin to think, okay, wait a minute, the Bible said that the Lord have a plan for me, that he's called me and from the beginning before he knew, and I'm sitting here letting you talk to me this way? Oh, absolutely not. Excuse me. I have a little issue here. You've been talking to me crazy and I've had enough. So I suggest that we figure out how to approach the situation and go forward, or we're going to have an issue. You can stop it if you're already in a relationship. You don't have to let anybody talk to you any kind of way. Somebody tried to talk to me the other day, any kind of way. I had brought up a situation and they start like yelling and getting all aggressive. And I said, ooh, ooh, ooh. I said, wait a minute. I said, yeah. I said, I'm not really used to people dealing with me like that because I know how to deal with people. I know how to speak. And so I am not used to anybody yelling at me or coming at me aggressive. So if you want to continue the conversation, if you want to continue conversing with me, excuse me, then you might have to take a little bit of that aggression out of your voice. They took it out and then they raised it back up. And I said, I said, not me. And that's all I said. I said, not me. Why? Because I know who I am. I know my value. I know my worth. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. You're not going to say whatever you want to say to me. No, 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 not me. Okay? But that is because I understand who I am and whose I am. And that means you're not going to talk to me and come at me any kind of way. I'm just not going to allow it. Okay? But a person who don't know who they are and who haven't made that investment in their self is going to let you talk to them and they're going to shut down. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. If that's the kind of person you are, work to change it, okay? Because we all have our flaws. We all have our weaknesses. I wasn't always like this. I had to start somewhere. If you look behind me, my sign, it says start with what you have, okay? And that's all we can do. So just really, I'm going to get off of here because I'm going into 40 minutes or 30 minutes, I think. I don't know. But I don't want to keep going. I want to keep it to around 30 minutes because I believe that less is more. So we are going to continue talking about relationships and identity tomorrow. Okay, because this is important. So what we're going to do is we're going to start more tomorrow with relationships and we're going to kind of tie these things in, what to look for, how to wait, and all of those things, because those things are important. Because a lot of us, if you look at the divorce rates, if you look at the unhappy homes, a lot of it is crumbling, and it's due to issues within, not knowing yourself, just settling, and for what reason. And so we have to really begin to pick that stuff apart because it's really, really important, and it really, really does affect our relationships. And when we are insecure, we bring those insecurities in our relationships. And sometimes we have very loving spouses that will love us and take care of us, but because we are so insecure, we don't allow them to love us. We don't allow them to properly lead and do the things that they want to do because of our own personal insecurities. And our insecurities are wrapped up in what? Our identity. And somewhere along the line, somebody has said or done something to you to mess with your identity. And that's why it's so important, if we have children, to make sure that we are making that investment, that we are giving our kids an identity. Because if we don't give our kids an identity, then the world is going to give them one. Okay? And so when they are young, we have to continue constantly encouraging them. You can do all things through Christ. You can be whatever you want to be. We have to continuously encourage our children, because we have to shape the way they think and the way they feel about themselves. If we're always telling them, oh, why you do this? You so clumsy. You this, you that. That's the first thing out of their mouth, in their minds. Oh, I'm clumsy. So they're going to begin to act out of that clumsiness. Okay. And so we have to do a better job. And it's not even just our children, but any children that we're around, our relatives, just being an encourager and really just and making that investment. When I was young, guess what they did? They told me what I couldn't do. You know what I mean? What I wasn't going to be and all this stuff. But for me, it worked the opposite. I had some self-esteem issues a little bit early on. And once I got past it, I was past it. And so I did kind of like the opposite. It had the opposite effect on me. It didn't take me down, but it caused me to work harder. It took me up. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. So I'm going to get off here because I think I've been on here about 30 minutes. And that is all I need to be on here, because I think that less is more. So if you guys have not gotten my books, they are on my website. Or no, go to Amazon. Somebody messed my website up. I don't even want to talk about it. But they are on Amazon, and you can go there and you can get the books. Sorry about that. So thank you so much for your support, guys. Oh, you know what? I did not even look in the other bag. That's okay, because we will examine that other bag tomorrow, because I am out of time and I do not want to rush anything. So please join me tomorrow at 9 p.m. Thank you so much. And you guys have a blessed evening. And if you need me, I am